There's few guns I can think of that generate such a polarizing response as the AK. You see, you all know of its legendary reliability, and yet you find things to complain about. But if your complaint isn't necessarily with the long-stroke piston system, but rather just the host platform itself, perhaps I could interest you in some alternatives. Which means it's time to cut back to that gratuitous shooting montage.
I'm unlikely to come here and tell you anything you don't already know about the AK. Despite its legendary reliability and brutish personality, some of you simply hate it. So allow me to present you with some alternatives. The Galil solves many of your complaints about the AK, and in the past few months, I have come to love this gun. But for those of you seeking the Gucciest of AK alternatives, enter the SIG AG551. Hailing from Switzerland, it is of true unicorn status in the US. And with that, the Battle Royale begins.
Okay, everyone, so here's the deal. There's an interesting thing that happens when you start talking about AKs. It's like there's two camps of people here.
Yep.
And they can't get along with each other.
Here generally and here physically.
Yes, fair. Very
you,
fair.
Jake.
Very fair. Don't talk about my people that way. Okay. Don't talk about my people. There's the haters, and then there's those of us who really love them. I would never come here and tell you that it's perfect and it can do no wrong. No, it's ridiculous. But it's like, I do love AKs.
Yeah, I know.
And I love long-stroke piston guns. I enjoy them. I find them to have much more charm and character and personality behind them.
Sure.
But there's a lot of folks that once this thing comes up, they start going, well, instead of an AK, you should do this thing instead. That is basically a long-stroke piston system, and it just takes the AK and it improves upon the AK.
Sure.
An upgraded AK, if you will,
yeah.
Even though it's not technically an AK. So I guess the real question sort of becomes that we're exploring in the video here is the AK the best AK? And that's the premise. Okay, that
interesting
is
premise.
The premise.
Tell me more.
That is. So we're going to look at 3 different firearms here. They have all actually been on the channel before. They've all had their own dedicated videos. We'll be looking at an actual AK from Rifle Dynamics, is an AK-47. So it is a little bit of a detour from what I was hoping for. I was hoping to have a 5.56 AK here. Didn't happen. So I got a 7.62 AK. I got a 5.56 Galil, Gen 1 basically it's a Galil Ace 22. We've also done a video on that that our buddy Joe Dawson was in. And then we have my trusty SIG 551, which is not a US SIG, it's a Swiss SIG. So, you know, those are pretty much unicorns and they're cool. We've done multiple videos on that. It does have a new accessory we will talk about as we go. So we're gonna look at all those. And what I'm gonna tell you is I understand that there's other competitors. I get it, there's more things. People are gonna say, what about the Robinson arms
sure.
and the this and the that? And they're gonna go on the list. Hey, look, this is what I have access to. And sometimes I appreciate your comments. Pretty much no matter what you comment, I'm happy that you're commenting. But just so you understand, when you're like, hey, in your guide to double stack 1911s, I can't believe you didn't have the Prodigy in it. I don't have a Prodigy, okay? And I wasn't gonna buy a Prodigy just for that video. And some of you are gonna say, I can't believe you didn't have this in there. Well, I don't have that. I don't necessarily have the ability to source every single gun
sure.
that is a long stroke piston AK sort of variant. So
sure.
this is what you got, and that's what I'm going with. I will also tell you,
still just so much attitude.
What? I'm a spicy guy. You know, and also to tell you this, especially when it comes to Galils, there's so many iterations and there's different calibers and there's PMags and there's Rock and Locks and there's Gen 1s and Gen 2s They are not all gonna have like the same manual of arms. I understand that a 5.45, the bolt doesn't lock back, and that this 5.56 it does. I can't take all of that into consideration as we're litigating this. I have what I have, and that's what I'm basing the video on. So you're just gonna have to roll with the punches here, everyone.
You're still gonna have 30 comments that did not hear a word you just said.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay, so game plan for the video. We're gonna have a section coming up in a minute where we shoot all these quite a bit, show you just different manual of arms, how they're all a little bit different, how they group at distance, different things in regards to adjusting gas settings, ejection patterns, all of that kind of stuff. What I will tell you before we do that is that, hey, these are all piston systems. They're all long stroke pistons, and you may decide, hey, I don't really wanna do an AKA or a long stroke piston system. But we got a solution for you. There's a sponsor of today's video called Adams Arms, and they make a piston upgrade kit for your AR.
Okay.
Right. So if you have an AR and you're like, hey, I'd like to dabble in pistons, see what
You
I
can like retrofit it.
Yeah,
Cool.
yeah, right. So you could take an existing AR and you could upgrade it with one of their piston kits, or they've also got some stuff that would be more of a sort of complete solution, if you will, if you just wanted to, you know, just jump right into it.
Cool.
So you can scope that out. Hey, there's no discount codes or anything like that. Just check them out, Adams Arms. Pretty cool. Piston guns, hey, look, run a lot cleaner, suppressed, cooler, suppressed, you know, less wear and tear on the gun, all that kind of stuff. So it's like, look, there are some real benefits. We were actually sort of tallying it up earlier, and I was like, man, it turns out I'm actually kind of a piston AR guy, as it turns out.
Yeah.
And I never really realized it until I started taking tally.
Yeah.
So anyway, Adams Arms, appreciate it. Thanks, guys. Okay, everyone. So as we jump into a little shooting portion of the video, just going to show you manual of arms of each platform. Most of you are probably familiar with AK. Some of you maybe not. Maybe you're newer to guns, in which case we welcome you into our community. So AK manual of arms, very, very straightforward. Rock and lock mags, that's more of a Galil term, but it would also apply to the AK. There's a 7.62 AK versus a 5.56 Galil and 5.51, so it is a little bit not apples to apples here, but the manual of arms would be the same, which is, hey, we got to really hook that front lip there, right? So you got to really find that front lip, and then your mag will rock into place. Take the mag out, you're just going to push on that paddle with your hand, or if you want to go the cool guy way, you can take your new mag and rock out the old one, which is a little,
That's what ninjas do.
overplayed. Unlike a AR or something, you don't have to worry about loading your mags to full capacity, even though you really don't on ARs either, but it's just the nature of the system. Safety, this is the Krebs custom safety because I am a lefty. So for a lefty, without this safety, historically what you're gonna have to do is, for a righty, obviously it's easy. Your right hand's on the gun and you're just going to, frankly, normally you would have a little nub right here where you're gonna rock it down. This is just a different style safety, so you would have to do this, which would be inconvenient. But for a lefty, this little nub here is for the purposes of taking your safety on and off. So when you're up, safety will come off, and then there you go. Take your safety off, charge your gun, gun's charged. You can always press check, just make sure you got a steel case round in there, and it's very, very obviously straightforward after that. Simple stuff. AK does not have last round hold open. Yeah, I don't have an empty AK mag, but basically at the end of your AK mag, you're gonna have a click instead of a bang, at which point you will have to take old mag out, index your new mag will go in, and then you're gonna charge it, or for a righty, they're typically gonna either reach underneath or cant their gun and come underneath the top.
Over top.
Over top. What did I say?
You said overneath the top.
Overneath the top might be a new expression. Might pop off on the underground. All right, let's show you Galil. Okay, Galil. So this is a Gen 1 Galil Ace 22 would be the model. These are a little bit limited in the US. There's only 1,000, but the Galil manual of arms would be relatively the same. Of note, however, you do have PMag versions, then you have rock and lock mags. One thing that is a little bit different here, so on the safety, you might be seeing this going like, how do you ever index that? Even for a righty, you can. I don't think it's the most efficient thing in the world, especially getting it back up. But the nice thing about the Galil is it's ambidextrous, but in a totally different format.
Okay.
You know, because it's not the same safety on both sides.
I love that.
Totally different style of safety. So basically this, for a lefty, you will basically take the little palm right here and you're just going to rock forward, okay? You're just gonna rock forward. For you as a righty, where do you wind up?
Me as a righty, I just use my thumb.
Yeah, easy.
I mean, look at that, dude. Like this safety, every firearms manufacturer should adopt something like this.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
Yeah.
It's fantastic.
I mean, as you're coming up, to like present the weapon,
Yeah.
just slides off super easy. Like this is great.
Yeah, slam dunk on the safety design there. What is a little bit quirky, so that when the gun's unsafe, unlike the AK where the charging handle is on this side, this is obviously meant for more of a righty. For me as a lefty, that means I've got to actually come underneath like a righty would actually run an AK. What's unique is that when the gun's unsafe, you'll notice
Can't charge it.
you can't charge it. So you have to go to fire, and then you can charge your gun. I don't really care about that one way or another.
Same.
It's like I'm an adult. I can choose when I want to charge my gun, but it also doesn't bother me that much.
It's also got to be because they Israeli carry over there and everything. There's got to be an argument that they make for that.
That could be fair enough.
Right.
On mags, it is worth noting, on the AK and the Galil, just your standard tacos will work fine. There's no weird nubs or anything that's going to prevent this from coming out. So it's going to load just like an AK, right? You're going to find the little lip there. The difference is, one, you'll notice a big paddle down here that is simply way more user-friendly. Yep. Way more user-friendly, and the gun is way more forgiving on reloads. Like guaranteed, I could out-reload this versus I could an AK.
Absolutely.
So it's just very forgiving, and the paddle, again, very, very forgiving coming out. Nice, big paddle that has the perfect amount of retention, unlike AKs. And I sound like an AK hater, I'm not, of course, but nature of the beast. So anyway, I would charge my gun underneath, gun's hot, and then, and there we go. I'm gonna simulate a reload.
AK reload.
Bear with me for a moment. So, unlike an AK, when you run dry on a Galil, that's what it's gonna look like. Pretend like this is an empty mag, your bolt will actually lock back, which is one of the huge selling points of the Galil over the AK for a lot of people, because they're just like, the last round hold open is a thing. Even though this is perfectly usable, even in modern day. But you will get last round hold open, in which case old mag's gonna go out, new mag's gonna go in, and then you simply press down on your bolt release there. So it's a really good design. The manual of arms is kind of borderline undeniable. Yeah. I would say that it's a better manual of arms than an AK.
Yes.
It simply is more feature packed, and it is a more friendly gun to use.
Sure. Yeah, all right. I agree.
SIG 551. Okay, SIG. Really, this would apply to the whole 55X series. This is a 551. We'll just go ahead and kind of show you how a reload would work. So you do have last round hold open. So, right, last round, bolt's gonna come back. Your little bolt catch is gonna actually go down, different than you would typically expect. Mag's gonna go in like an AK. This is 556. So it's not a very steep angle at which you're gonna have to hit it, right? Mag rocks in pretty freely. And then, because the Swiss are just smart, they figured out that naturally someone reloading this would be coming in a upward direction. Therefore, you simply go up on your bolt release. Why is that the most genius thing in the world? Why isn't
similar to an AR bolt release?
Yeah, I guess I never reload ARs like that.
Yeah, because that's exactly how I reload an AR. Thumb up, hit the bolt release, back on the gun.
Sure.
It's the same thing, but on an AK style.
Sure.
Esque.
Yeah.
Right? You just don't experience that because you're left-handed.
Yeah, yeah. I've just got a different thing going on there. So the safety is the real weak link, especially for a left-handed shooter on the 55X, because the reality is, you'll notice the hinge, and we'll talk about this whole setup, because for some of the astute like SIG Euro guys, they're like, what the hell is this thing? This is not a thing. What's going on here? Even with the hinge of this flipped to the left side, which would be more friendly for me as a left, still hitting this safety is a virtual impossibility, because just the nature of the design and where this little detent goes. So if you're really trying to hit this, I mean, you really like, you don't have enough, you're blocked by it. So what you wind up having to do is really break your grip. Like, you have to basically completely break your grip to get that side of the safety, or run same side of the gun the whole time and just do that. The safety is a problem.
As a left, yeah, because as a righty, I can either flip that or do it with my thumb.
Yeah, and part of the difference is literally on the other side of the gun, that little detent.
Yeah, I can see how that would bother you.
Yeah, it's just completely in your way.
But me, like I was saying earlier, reloads, yeah, I mean, it's similar to an AR.
It is. So. Yeah, I guess I'm,
you just don't experience that.
Well, I'm special.
I mean, that's why we're talking about manual of arms here.
Yeah, beyond that, really all of the SIG 55X guns do come with folding stocks, so you can fold the stocks either on the factory SIG ones or some of of the now MCX styles that you can run. Manual arms, relatively straightforward, right? Safety comes off. It's a shame on whoever thought that was a good idea. Sorry, but you know. And then, so relatively straightforward. Like I said, you go to bolt lock. Reloads are very straightforward. This paddle release, I would still outrank over an AK. Reloads are going to be a little bit more economical here. When it comes to the reload sequence, AK be your clear loser. And then really I'd say Galil and Sig are tied.
Yep.
If we start factoring in things like, okay, safety combined with manual of arms and reload and everything,
Galil.
I think Galil clearly shines ahead.
Yep,
yeah.
I agree.
So that's a little manual of arms. Now we'll shoot a little bit more. Okay, so we're just gonna run some doubles and just track sort of split times amongst the platforms. I will fully concede up front, this is not a true fair comparison because you have a 16-inch, or actually a 14.5 7.62 gun. You got a 13-inch 5.56 and then a 16-inch 5.56. So it's like, we get it. Okay.
Well, and they're all set up lefty.
Yes.
I'm righty.
Yeah, so it's like, look, this is not a real fair comparison, but sometimes people just like to watch people shoot. So we'll just shoot and kind of track some times here. All right, here we go. Shooter, stand by. 0.83, 2-round split time is 0.18. Run like 3-4 evolutions of this.
What was my total time?
0.83.
0.83?
Yeah.
Dude, it's fucking fast, bro.
Yeah, it's moving.
Huh?
Yeah, it's moving. Good job.
Thanks, Jay. Made my day.
See how excited he gets? A little bit of praise. That's what I do. It's like
it's like a dog.
You keep a dog starving.
Yeah.
And then you give him a treat, and he's like, oh,
Yep, that's it.
Okay, stand by. 0.66, 0.16 on your split. Boy, that's moving.
Well, my first shot was low too. I think I hit him in like the dick.
Yeah. Well, so, hey, dick shots are real shot.
Dick sucks, man.
Yeah. 0.75 with a 0.16 split. So your splits are consistently about, I mean, twice in a row, 0.16. Let's swap to Galil. Let's track that.
Let me do one more on this. I can go a little bit faster.
Oh, okay. Ricky Bobby over here.
Yep.
Okay, stand by.
Woo!
0.16. So that's about your threshold.
Okay. I flubbed that.
0.78, 0.16 on your split. A little higher on your overall time. Okay, stand by. 0.78, 0.18 on your split. Interesting.
Same time?
Well, it's slower than your AK times.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This safety thumb is a little bit different, so.
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you're using the left side of the gun one, right?
I'm using this one.
The thumb one. Yeah. Okay, stand by. 0.74, 0.18 on your split. All right, run one more.
That was a good one.
0.60, 0.17 on your split. So, ironically, fastest split times are on the AK.
AK so far?
That surprises me.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that safety that's on the AK, that like Krebs safety.
Yeah.
I mean, as soon as my hand moves, it flips off.
Well, I'm almost more interested in the split time.
Oh.
Because that would be unaffected. Although it's so minuscule that it's like, we're playing in fractions of seconds.
Yeah, but it's an interesting observation.
Yeah. Now,
this will...
AR style safety.
Man, the hinge on this thing sucks.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, okay. The hinge, what hinge are you talking about?
That? Look where it digs into my hand.
Oh shit, wow.
I can't get the proper grip.
Very interesting.
See this?
Yeah, so that's a
Right
problem
here?
that I don't experience, right?
Yeah. I mean, it's like right in the spot where I need that joint to move.
You know, it's fascinating because it's like that hinge causes me great problems as a lefty in regards to my safety. It causes you a problem in terms of digging in your hand.
Well, and it's also affecting safety because I can't get the safety how I want to.
Yeah.
I can't get my hand into the gun enough to have my thumb where it needs to be for the safety.
Yeah, and so I'm having the same thing, just in a different style.
Correct.
But interesting. It seems like that's a design flaw that someone would have figured out, especially the Swiss.
Yeah.
Of all people, the Swiss. This is what you do.
They done fucked up.
Okay, all right, here we go. Stand by.
Yeah.
So 1-1, that's super different. I think your worst time before was 0.8. So 0.19 on your split, 1-1 overall time.
Okay.
Interesting. Okay.
Still not good.
0.78, so that's about where your average has been. 0.17 on your split.
I have a terrible purchase on this gun.
Yeah.
To hit that safety.
Yeah. Okay, stand by. So are you having to compromise your grip?
Yeah.
Yeah, so same.
I got to take a little extra time to seat my grip.
Yeah. And that's the challenge of that. It's like,
Yeah.
I don't shoot that gun a ton because it's not the most ergonomic gun to shoot. It really is not. It's a cool gun, and I love it.
Let's try keeping my hand where it is.
Yeah, and you just struggle to get there.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I got to break my whole grip to do it.
No, I get it. It's interesting. Okay, let's go one more. Here we go. 0.82, so the overall times are fine. Splits are 1.7, but you're having to work way harder for it.
Yeah. Conscious effort.
Yeah.
We're unconscious effort.
Yeah, it just flows. Okay, moving on. Okay, so we're gonna show you a little bit in terms of, I guess to a degree, recoil impulse, but more so related to gas. AKs, you can run an adjustable gas block, or sorry, an adjustable piston is what I meant. K&S makes adjustable pistons for AKs and Galils. This particular gun from Rifle Dynamics does not have, it has a fixed piston, but it has an adjustable gas block, so it's actually a bit different. I tuned this based on what I thought was, I was shooting for about a 10-foot ejection pattern, and that would be roughly here.
Roughly.
So let's shoot a couple rounds, see if we're coming close.
3, 4?
Sure.
I did 5.
Yeah, so a couple come short, a couple come right to me. Sometimes I could just be inconsistency in ammo and just, weird fluke phenomenon physics and, how the world shakes out. But that's about the sweet spot. Rifle Dynamics thinks this gun is overgassed, and they're probably right. They said, we tune it down a little bit, but it's like, I don't know. It works for me, so I just leave it there. Okay, so the Galil, much like the AK, you can run a K&S adjustable gas piston. That's what I have in this. I can tell you that gun really transforms with the adjustable piston in it. It goes from, you could go look at our Galil video we did with Joe Dawson, but if you look at his 5.45 gun without the piston in it, he's getting about a 20-foot ejection pattern. With this, it's tuned to about 10. That's the sweet spot. It really tames down the recoil quite significantly. So Chris will send a few rounds. We'll see where these things land.
Okay.
Yeah, so they're all kind of landing in and around me. So, 8 to 10 foot, somewhere in that range. That gun's tuned right at about the sweet spot, always locks back. Really smooth. It's butter. Okay, so last up, the 5.51. So the 5.51 does have an adjustable piston. It just comes with the gun. It's a 2-position. I do believe SIG also makes, SIG AG, the Swiss SIG, makes another piston that has like 4 settings. Don't quote me on that, but I do believe that is a thing. The gun is made to work in very cold environments, aka Switzerland. So the ejection is pretty extreme. The gas is definitely up. So Chris is on the normal setting right now. Let's see where these couple rounds land. Okay, so multiple of those are going past me. This is a solid 20 foot. This is a solid 20 foot. So flip it up to the high power. Usually going to the adverse condition, it's not that much of a difference, but let's just see.
Okay.
Jesus. Okay, so these rounds are landing right here. I mean, that's 25 foot. I got hit in the foot. not by the round, by the case. I mean, that distance of ejection is pretty significant. So if you're ever gonna run a can on that, man, it's gonna have to have no back pressure. Like, you cannot have a high back pressure can on that gun. Like hard pass. I know that B&T did make some suppressors for the 5.5X series, so that might be your answer on that. On to the finale. Let's do some distance testing. Cap it off, do a little bit of accuracy testing. I'm gonna reiterate a point. It's not apples to apples. Different barrel lengths and a different caliber.
Sure.
I am more interested in groupings than I am in which one's the actual most accurate in relation to the black dot.
Yeah, we're just documenting the grouping of each rifle.
I recently zeroed all these and confirmed them at 50, so they do have good zeros, but it's more the group that I'm interested in.
And we're gonna shoot that one top target on, so we have 2 targets down there. We're gonna shoot this one on the top of the 2.
I'm definitely taking a bit of a guess at that black dot.
Just center up that reticle in the center of that target.
Well, the center is not what I'm going for. The black dot's higher than that. I can vaguely see it, I'm just saying. Vision plays a role here. So I'll just tell you in advance before we check these targets. This is all at 100. Not a terrible shooting position, certainly not ideal. It's not a bench or something like that. But, you know, unmagnified on a 1-inch black circle, I can barely see a circle.
Sure.
Like my vision is a limitation here. I'm just saying, I guarantee you whatever you're seeing is not the mechanical accuracy of the gun.
It's the human input.
You're seeing the human input. Regardless, why the hell not? We'll go look at the targets. Get those two guys?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. All right, so top left target will be AK. 1, 2, 3, 4. I mean, MOA, you're talking maybe 5-inch MOA for me. Again, this is not mechanical shit. This is shooter on the Galil. 1, 2, 3, 4. Really, you're talking about the similar spread, honestly. Nothing, this might be a tad bit tighter. Not by a wide margin though, for sure. So then on the SIG, I'd say it's a very, very similar spread. You know, I mean, so, I mean, at the end of the day, the grouping is almost identical in all of them.
Yeah.
I can tell you by far, the worst trigger to try to shoot for groups is the SIG.
Is it?
Oh, by far.
You know why you're a little high on all this, right?
Yeah,
Because 50 meter zeros for 200. It's still rising at
fair.
100
Yeah, it's
and then
fair.
dropping and meeting at 2.
Yeah, actually
which is,
totally
if people
true.
don't know that, that's why you're high on these.
That's actually totally true.
So.
Because I was, on those, it was a real guess because there's 2 pieces of paper, so I can't tell where a center is. On this, I was just trying to pick the center of the white thing in front of me. But the high makes sense.
Yeah.
Regardless, if you just say, hey, look, those are mostly guns that you're going to run dots on. Those aren't LPVO guns.
Sure.
You could run a magnifier on them. Like, clearly, you know, they're completely effective. It depends on your definition of distance, of course. But it's just like, hey, that's the limit. That's about the limit of my shooting ability with a red dot at 100 meters.
Okay.
Like, truthfully, you know, and I'm fine with it. People can be like, oh, dude, it's on a 1-inch. And it's like, okay, cool. I got no magnification. I'm laying on fucking gravel and I can't see the target. Like, I'm fine with it.
Sure.
No issue. So, on to the next. So, Chris has claimed that my targets were so bad that we should not show them for fear of my ridicule. To which I say, I don't give no shits what none of you think about my target. Okay? I'm comfortable with my target. But I asked Chris, I was like, you think you can do better than that? Which I don't deny that someone could do better than that. I'm not saying my shooting's great. But he said he could shoot a 50-cent piece with these rifles at 100 yards.
I threw that one hard. Give me one more.
Okay, everyone. So I want to see comments leading into this. 50-cent. You pick his spread. What's his spread?
Yeah, that ain't a 50-cent piece.
I guess Chris is buying Jake dinner for the next year.
Was that the bet?
Okay, everyone. Jake's group marked 1, 2, 3, 4. That's the biggest spread right there. I can't reach my fingers that far. I can't reach. I'd have to put my boot up there to get to that group.
That's a 50 cent.
Yeah. A lot of them strung together and welded together
that's a 50
to form
cent.
one $10 piece of 50-cent coins welded together.
Totally.
Yep. Well, I guess now we know. This man shoots 50 cents at 100.
Yeah.
Okay, everyone. Hope you enjoyed that. If you're looking for any ways to support the channel, I would suggest go to 1911syndicate.com. You can go learn about what we do. The 1911 Syndicate is actually a real estate company. You didn't mishear that. And thank you to all of you who do support us via that, because it is the main way that the lights stay on and we fund all these productions is by selling you guys and gals real estate all over the US. So scope that out. We got Patreon, we got merch on the website, all kinds of stuff. You guys can go learn about all that.
Yep.
Okay, so let's just kind of start diving into some, you know, just sort of head-to-head comparisons, aside from shooting and the stuff that we just litigated. But let's start with this. Availability, and I'm gonna kind of just rank all of these things within these different categories that I've laid out. So we're gonna start with availability. So the AK is certainly the most attainable platform of all this, right? Just because there's just a massive amount of AKs that you can go get in the US now. The days of the, you know, $600 surplus AKs and stuff like, hey, those aren't really here anymore. Like you're not getting like quality military surplus, you know, style AKs for you know, $500 like you once did. I wasn't in the game at that point, so I can only live vicariously for the folks that that used to get them for those sort of prices. But look, there's a ton of manufacturers, ton of price ranges, you know, from sub 1,000 up to, and you know, again, I you know, not meant in any sort of flex way, but it's like, you know, you can go from, hey, $700 Century Arms to a 3,000 plus Rifle Dynamics build.
Yeah.
Or Meridian Defense or whatever
Sure.
it is, you know, so it's like widespread. Galil, I'd say, hey, it's in the middle zone. There's tons of Galils out there. That's not an issue. You can probably walk into most shops and go find some sort of Galil variant. These, specifically the Rock and Lock 5.56s, these are pretty uncommon. There's only 1,000 of these at the imported. At this point, I don't know how many are left. I'm gonna take a guess, couple hundred. Okay. I don't really know. Like, don't quote me on that.
I need to pick one up.
Yeah, they really, really are cool. But hey, you can find tons of different Galils. You're gonna have to really sort through which variant are you looking for and then see if you can source that.
And you're gonna have to do some research on that because there's a lot of nuances to that.
A lot, yeah, a lot. Links and Gen 1, Gen 2 PMAC. So the SIG 5.5X series is gonna be by far the least attainable. You know, by far, really. So there was, I think, like 350 of these 16-inch 5.51s imported. You can go learn the backstory of that. I'll link it if I remember to. But the first video we did on this, we tell the backstory specifically of the 16-inch ones that came. I can tell you there's no more of those left. A buddy of ours actually bought the last one, who you also know, who's also been on our channel. I'll see if, hey, that's your carrot. See if you can figure out who got the last one. Very tough to get. There's, you know, one importer, JDI Imports. You also see them referred to like Sand Swiss Imports. That's really the only place you can get them, unless you're finding them from people that got them from someone else that are, you know, flipping it or something like that. Next, price. So to do this, I really had to kind of go apples to apples, not factor in sights, lights, all the accessories.
Just
to
go. Base model gun.
I would say the base model gun as you see here. Basically take away the hand, like the hand stops, the optics, the lights.
Stocks?
No, I think we leave the stocks within the conversation. The hand guards and everything, just a complete iron sight gun. Before you add on your extra shit. So basically just, hey, take whatever the number is here, add 1,000 to 2 grand based on however you would kit it out. So the AK and the Galil as configured here are gonna both be about, so the Rifle Dynamics and then the Galil are both gonna be about 3,500 bucks all in, okay? So, you know, cheap? No.
Not really.
No, not astronomical. I guess it's all relative, I suppose, but not astronomical. But hey, they're both going to run you mid-3s for a really nicely, and these are nicely appointed, like nicely kitted out handguards and the full works, you know. The SIG gonna come in at the least attainable. So before we start factoring in optics, lights, and all that, you're gonna be about 5,300. So again, not exactly giving them away. It is probably a bucket list gun for quite a few people. Certainly was for me.
Sure.
You know, so that's gonna run you about 5,300. Hey, once you start throwing optic, light, everything on, hey, you're probably gonna run about seven grand to kit one of those out. So, you know, hey, you know, the game is what the game is.
Is what it is, bro.
Mags. So AK bomb-proof mags, obviously. Ton of different manufacturers of mags. I largely run the Circle 10 mags. You know, you can go find some.
It's a good brand for those?
Yeah. Oh, very. Yeah, very, very. You can go get, you know, metal surplus mags. They're always kind of cool. You know, P mags. I mean, there's tons of options.
Will this run on like those Bakelite mags?
Yeah.
Yeah?
I don't know if they have 7.62. Don't quote me on that.
Okay.
Don't quote me on that.
Bakelite's the red, like OG AK mags. They only come in 7.62.
Yeah, it would. For some reason in my head, I was crossing into 5.45 territory on those, but yeah, they do come in 7.62.
No, just like that red plastic that's, you know, iconic for AKs.
As long as it's 7.62 by 39, yeah, you're good. So AK, obviously they're bomb-proof. The Galil, what's nice about that, well, two things. One, you've got an option. You could do a PMAG Galil.
Sure.
Which just not my thing.
No?
Well, no. For you, it'd make all the sense in the world.
100%.
Yeah. You know, for me, who's like, I'm into this stuff, I want native mags.
Okay.
You know, it's like on my B&T, for example. What did you have on your B&T?
Glock.
Right. I had the B&T mags.
Yeah.
But it's the same principle.
Sure, I see what you're saying.
You wanted the crossover. I'm like, I want the factory OEM shit. You know, it's like, it's just pick your poison thing.
Crossover makes more sense, but
it does. I'm just kind of a purist.
I'm just glad you're conceding that.
Yeah, no, it makes more sense.
Cool.
I'd never take that away. I'm just saying I'm just kind of a purist at heart. But the Galil, man, the Rock and Lock 5.56 mags, when IWI has them, are like sub $30. And I mean, those things are tanks.
Yeah.
Okay, so the Sig mags are, shocker, the least attainable, and the most expensive, and probably the least durable. I mean, they're plastic. You know, they're plastic mags. They're these translucent, you know, plastic mags. So they look very cool.
Aesthetically, especially when they're fully loaded in the gun.
Yeah.
Oof.
Yeah. I mean, you see the round. You know, it's just super gangster looking mag. But and they also have the ones that clip in together, much like a G36 mag.
Yes.
I have some of those. Those, hey, just be wary depending on how you want to carry your kit. Those mags do not do well in mag pouches. The ones with the notches, you can't use anywhere. It's like, hey, look, that's for the setup that's in your gun. You can't index those anywhere else. Yep. Even the existing ones, they really don't work even in a taco or anything. You might have to have, because they just have notches and just different shit on it. So it's not the most convenient thing in the world, if I'm being honest. But they're very hard to get. The factory price is like $65. Very hard to get at that. You're probably gonna spend closer to $100. Okay. You know, kind of, again, is what it is. Okay, let's talk aftermarket support, sort of customization and all that kind of stuff. AK is gonna have your most options. There's tons of, you know, between Krebs Customs and Rifle Dynamics and Meridian Defense, and you go to Occam Defense, and you go down the list, and there's a lot.
Fuller Phoenix.
Fuller, yeah, for sure. For not building guns, but definitely doing assemblage. That's definitely not a word. That can't be a word, right? Yeah. Did I just make that up?
I think you made that up.
Assemblage?
Yeah. Assemblage.
Assemblage cannot be a word.
No.
If anyone here's like
assembly, assemblage, that doesn't work.
If we have any of those like nerd students that study like the English language that watch this channel, which they don't, but if you do, chime in. Is assemblage a word? Maybe it is. If it is, man, shit, I'm gonna feel proud. But anyway, AK's ton of options, by far the best route if you really want to get custom with your gun. Galil, there's a decent amount of options. So like on the 5.56, 13-inch guns, there's like 2 different handguards. So not a lot. There's, this one's from Midwest Industries, and Joe had one from, I'm blanking out on who it was. So anyway, I can't remember, but it was definitely lighter, more skeletonized, than the shave some weight. A lot of for people that complain about the Galil, it's very weird to me. It's so heavy. They complain so much about the weight. I'm telling you guys, this, I guarantee you, if we were to chop this down for these to be the same length, I guarantee the SIG is heavier, and I bet you that this is relatively comparable to the AK weight.
That weight on firearms anyways just drives me crazy.
Unless
like if you're not hiking around the mountains, like it is literally a non-issue for me.
Yeah, for a range day, who cares?
And when people argue like that's their biggest, you know, I'm gonna say it, bugaboo about a gun, and they don't like it, I'm like, dude, what? You're not hiking around Afghanistan, so like what, you know.
Tony, this isn't that heavy.
No.
My SIG Spear with the D-ball and the suppressor and the EOTech and the magnifier and the light and everything, it's a heavy gun right now.
Yeah.
But it's again, like, I would strip some of that shit down.
Well, and we play dress up in the desert, so.
Don't matter. I could stand to burn the calories right now. I'm 3.5 pounds overweight, so, you know, don't get me started on that one.
Yeah, it's been bothering them all week, guys.
Yeah, really pissed. But the SIG, so there's virtually no customization routes for the SIG. I'll tell you like literally the couple things that you can do on these. So one, handguard, okay? So you got one handguard option if you want to attach anything, B&T.
I was gonna say it's from a different manufacturer, it's from B&T.
Yeah. And B&T probably does the best job of any company in the industry at making high-end accessories for niche guns.
Sure.
Like SIG 5.5Xs and MP5s and 416s and shit where you're just like, man, you guys just it's
cool.
It's amazing what you guys do on that market. So there's that. There's not a lot else other than for those of you who have spotted this and you're like, so what is going on with this? Because that definitely ain't from Switzerland. That is correct. So here's what happened. There's a, so I believe they're in Belgium.
Right next door.
It's a company called CSR Precision. Let me just make sure I did get that right. CSR Precision. And they came out with a pique rail adapter for the SIG 5.5X series. And I saw that, and I don't remember if I sent them a message or they sent me a message, something like that. But they were just like, you know, I was just like, man, that's really cool.
Yeah.
And I said, hey, we're doing, you know, a video coming up, and you know, it'd be really cool to feature that. So, hey, look, it adds a pick rail adapter to the back of this. It's just, you know, just punch this little detent pin through here, and then you can attach it. This is a JMac stock. You can run the factory SIG ones. I will tell you definitely on these, it's very niche and it doesn't seem significant, but it is, which is the factory SIG stocks are 8 inches. JMac makes some 8 inches ones too. The length of pull is too short on that.
Yeah.
You need the 9-inch stock. So if you're gonna go down this path, the 3 of you that have these that might wanna do this, make sure you get a 9-inch stock. The 8-inch is gonna be too short and it's always gonna look really, really stupid.
Good to know.
So hey, you could do these. There's obviously a ton of different aftermarket MCX style stocks that you can do. Beyond that, there ain't a whole lot of customization you can do to these, but at the same time, there's not a lot that you need to do to it. And finally, I will just end on cool factor. Oh man. The one that means nothing but means everything.
99% of shooting is looking cool. So.
Yeah. So I'd say, hey, look, the SIG has to be the coolest based on the rarity and just
aesthetics of it, the way it shoots, ejection pattern. You know, we can fold this for gloves. Like,
yeah,
I don't know, like, you know, adjustable piston. Like,
it is the coolest. It is the coolest gun of the lot. I would say that the Galil, maybe it's recency bias or something for me, probably check my number 2 box.
Okay.
Because I really think that is an aesthetically very pleasing gun. I think it's a very handsome firearm.
Manual of arms on it, the way it shoots. I thoroughly enjoy this gun.
Yeah.
And
it's the only time you've ever said that.
It's attainable for me.
Yes.
This is not.
Yeah.
This is for sure not.
Yeah. Well, and you're not even interested in that.
For sure not.
Yeah.
That's why I said for sure not.
Yeah. Yeah.
This, no.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And like, you know, God's people. So.
Sure. Sure. Yeah.
Some people are going to argue that, but.
Well, yeah. Hey, that's, the comments be what they be, you know? So that's that. So kind of final thoughts here. So I'll just tell you, look, if we factor the whole package in, and if I opened with a goofy question of, is the AK the best AK? I don't feel like I can get off the hook without answering that. Otherwise, what a cheap video that I just made. So I would tell you, okay, we factor in manual of arms and cool factor and price and mags, and you kind of look at the complete package and you go, who's doing this AK-ish thing the best? And I gotta tell you, I think the Galil probably wins it.
Yeah?
I think it does.
You might get some real hate for that statement.
I could.
Litigate your case for me.
Well, here's the thing. One, I have a lot of time on all of these. So I'm not speaking out my ass here. Like, you know what I mean?
Sure.
Like, this isn't based on an internet theory that Jake picked up on Reddit. Like, no, this is Jake's guns that he spent a lot of time with and going, look, man, I think between the manual of arms, recoil impulse, having the adjustable piston in there where you can really tune that to be very nice suppressed, some good aftermarket support, MCX stocks, you know, everything. You just go, I don't know, man. I think for me, it checks enough boxes to go, I think it probably is an improved AK.
Yeah.
I actually don't even really think it's that debatable.
Sure.
Like, it seems kind of undeniable.
Yeah. Which, you know, there's some people that aren't going to understand the premise of this entire video at all.
Yeah.
Because it's not an AK. And then the argument will be, well, like, this is copied from this, which was copied from the AK.
Yes.
Get rid of all that.
Yeah.
We're just talking about these 3 specific things. And, dude, the Galil's badass, man.
It is badass.
I really like the manual of arms, the safety, the recoil impulse. Again, it's very attainable.
Reloads are very forgiving.
Super forgiving, man.
You know,
even on a rock and lock, very forgiving.
Yeah, and just so you guys don't think I'm a total bonehead, I'm aware that this comes from its roots with the Valmet and everything. I got it, okay?
Yes.
I got it. I understand that it was like kind of AK, you know, removed from the equation. I got it, guys. I got the Valmet story. I understand. But it's just like, look, internally, you break these down and you go, yeah, like they are all functioning like an AK. And it's like, I don't know, man. For me, the Galil really checks a lot of boxes. I very much enjoy it. I've pondered multiple times now picking up a second one and doing an even shorter one, which is functionally useless in 5.56, but I want it.
Sure.
Because I just want it.
It makes sense in some arguments.
So yeah, you know, so I don't know, man. That's what I'm going to leave you with. Look, I like all these guns. Again, I own all these. I own multiple AKs. I own one SIG and one Galil. So it's, hey, I love AKs. I got multiple of them. It's like I'm on board. I'm on the team. I'm on your team. I'm just saying, look, man, there are cool other alternatives out there.
Yeah.
And with that said, man,
Say you had to use one of these in like a self-defense scenario.
oh boy,
What
that'd
else
be
would
a-
you wish that you had?
It'd be a bad day, but I would want some sort of self-defense insurance.
Like what?
There's a company that I know.
Tell me
Do
about
you
it.
guys just hate these ad reads? Do you guys just hate these ad reads? There's a company that I know called Firearms Legal Protection, everyone.
And they are self-defense insurance. Not
Yeah.
just like firearms, but legally justified self-defense.
A fist, a fire
I
extinguisher.
take that stick over there and beat someone to death with it. Ooh, that's dark.
It is dark.
That would suck.
I'm actually aware, maybe you told me about a dude that actually has a confirmed kill with an ammo can. Oh no, a refrigerator. I've heard of
Refrigerator
that, yeah.
and comms pack.
God, that's brutal.
Yeah, the comms pack and the refrigerator are two separate dudes.
And
but-
awesome. But anyway, back to FLP. Good folks, they got a few different tiers that you can do. Like mine, hey, look, I'm good to travel to all the states. You have to, of course, be legally carrying, of course. You can't break the law and expect this to cover you, but it's like, look, covers you in all 50 states. So if you travel, that's cool. You have a woman.
I do. I do
Yeah.
have a woman. You don't. But say she, heaven forbid, is in some scenario when I'm up here hanging out with you, she'll also be covered,
Yeah.
which is awesome. And
Yeah.
our code 1911 will save you about 30, or well, yeah, it's about a third off of each one.
Yeah, close enough.
Cool.
So anyway, check that out. Appreciate them. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. And if you're lighting us up in the comments right now, then they have at that too. You know, good
Love
times.
you guys.